Have you ever invested so much into someone that walking away felt like admitting that everything you gave them was just wasted? Your time, attention, energy, vulnerability, plans, and even your love, and maybe even a version of your future that you had already started imagining with them. See, that's the thing about love. We talk about love like it's supposed to be this beautiful, little effortless thing, and sometimes it is. But sometimes love feels less like a fairy tale and more like an investment. And just like any investment, you can put everything you have into something believing it's going to grow, only to find out that you invested in something that wasn't even capable of giving you the return that you were hoping for. And unfortunately, that's what I had to learn recently. I had to learn that loving somebody doesn't automatically mean that they're good for me. I had to learn that chemistry isn't always compatibility, and attention isn't commitment. Promises aren't consistency. And sometimes the strongest thing you can do for yourself in this situation is to walk away from somebody that you still love. Today, I want to tell you about that experience that happened to me very recently. And no, this is not to expose anybody or to make anybody the villain. I'm mainly just telling the story because heartbreak has taught me things that happiness probably never could have. And if you, the viewer, right now are going through something similar, maybe my experience can give you some solid advice and maybe even save you some pain. So let me take you back to the beginning real quick. There was this girl I was talking to. It started March 10th. I met her through Snapchat. We met previously due to us working in the same company, but we've never really interacted. On March 10th, I ran into her Snapchat account through Quick Ad, saw the picture but no name, and immediately I added it. I added the account, and within less than 10 minutes, they added me back. Then 5 minutes go by and I get a text from them. Are you the AP dude? That's when I knew, okay, yeah, it's the person I'm thinking of. So after that, we've been talking, we catched up with each other. This is the first time we've actually talked to each other, apart from just saying hi or hello from meeting each other previously. And yeah, it was pretty nice. Eventually, after getting to know each other for a while, she started pulling up to my job because she happened to work at the car wash next to the job. So she would pull up and we'd talk and we'd get to know each other a little bit more. We bought Red Bull drinks and we just wait for her parents to pick her up. After that, we started talking more on the phone, and that's when I felt it. When I felt, okay, there's potential in this. I eventually asked her out. We didn't do much. We just went to the park. We got pizza at the local Pizza Hut. We got drinks from the local King Supers. We went to the park and then we watched a show and then we played some stupid game, the heads up game. And that's initially what started the attraction for me. I tried to keep it just cordial, just friends, but something inside was telling me, no, this could be something. Try to go for it. Second date rolls by. I take her out. We go bowling to this place up in Thornton, Colorado. And, it was a fun time, fun date. We ended up getting food after, and I took her home. She claims that this is when she started developing the feelings. Third date rolls around. We go see the new Mario Galaxy movie in Harkins. And afterwards, we go get food. That's like right next to the theater. It's called Waldo's Chicken. Pretty good, pretty yummy, not gonna lie. So after that, I felt it and I took the ballsiest move I ever did. I confessed my feelings to somebody that I wasn't even sure about. And to my surprise, that same night, the feelings were reciprocated. We started calling and we started texting more, and life just felt perfect. And at first, it felt good, really good. And right now, that's important to say because when we're talking about heartbreak, sometimes we tend to rewrite the past. We convince ourselves that the entire relationship was terrible only because it ended badly. But that's not necessarily true. There were good moments. There were the moments where I genuinely felt happy. There were the conversations I enjoyed. There were even things about her that I was attracted to. And there were definitely those moments where I thought to myself, maybe this could actually become something serious. And that's exactly why walking away from her became so difficult for me at the end. Because realistically, you don't grieve something that meant nothing to you. You grieve something that meant something to your heart, obviously. After confessing the feelings, the more we started talking, texting, we ended up started falling asleep on the phone. We started seeing each other a lot, like every day of the week. Even on our days off, we'd go do something, go to the movies, or we just go eat, go do something, just as long as we're seeing each other. And before I knew it, I wasn't just talking to her anymore. I started investing in her. And this brings me to my first lesson. Lesson one: love is an investment. Now, I want you to think about love differently for a second. Love is an investment, not a financial investment, but an emotional one. Every time you give somebody your time, you're investing. Every time you open up about something vulnerable, you're investing. Every time you change your schedule to make room for somebody, you're investing. Every time you start imagining a future with somebody, you're investing. And the more you invest, the more expensive it becomes to walk away. And that's exactly why you have to be careful about how quickly you go all in. Because sometimes we give somebody the emotional benefits of a committed relationship before they've even demonstrated that they're capable of giving us commitment. We give them our loyalty before they've even earned it. We give them access to parts of ourselves that they haven't even proven that they could handle. And when things fall apart, we're devastated in the end. Not only because we lost the person, but because we lost everything we had attached to that person, the future we imagined, the relationship that we thought we were building, the version of ourselves that existed when we were with them. And so I had to ask myself, was I investing based on what was actually happening, or was I investing based on what I hoped would happen? And that's a completely different question. Because potential can be incredibly dangerous when you fall in love with it. You can look at somebody and see who they could become. You can see the relationship that they could give you. You can see the future that you could have. But in the end, you don't date potential. You date the person that's actually in front of you. And that's one of the biggest lessons that heartbreak has taught me recently. Don't invest according to somebody's potential, but invest according to their patterns. Watch what they consistently do, not what they say they'll do, and not what they did once, not even what they promise that they're going to become. Watch what they consistently show you because your heart deserves the evidence. And that brings me to something else that I wish I had recognized earlier. Sometimes people can give you so much attention and affection that you mistake intensity for intimacy. And sometimes that intensity is genuine, but sometimes it's also a red flag. Lesson 2: recognizing love bombing and red flags. Now let's talk about love bombing. And I want to be careful here because not every person who gets excited about you is love bombing you. Not every intense connection is manipulation. Some people just genuinely fall for someone quickly. The difference is what happens underneath that intensity. Are there boundaries? Is there consistency? And most importantly, is there respect? Does this person's behavior match their words? Or do you get showered with attention 1 minute and then ignored the next? Do they make huge promises before they've actually even built trust? Or do they try to accelerate the relationship before you even had time to understand who they really are? Do they make you feel like you're the most important person in the world and then suddenly make you feel like you're asking for too much? Now, see, those are the things that are worth paying attention to. And sometimes the biggest red flag isn't just one giant event. Sometimes it's the pattern. You see, you notice the little things. Something doesn't feel right, you bring it up, they explain it away, you both apologize, carry on, and then it happens again. Again, something doesn't feel right, you bring it up, they explain it away, you both apologize, move on, but then it happens again. Eventually, you become so emotionally invested that you actually start defending their behavior that you would have told your best friend to walk away from. And that's dangerous because love can make you negotiate with your own intuition. You start saying things like, maybe I'm overthinking, or maybe they didn't mean it like that. Maybe if I just communicated better, things would have changed. Maybe, but maybe they won't. And sometimes the person you're trying desperately to understand is showing you exactly who they are. You're just hoping that the answer will change. Now, looking back, there are things I recognize now that I couldn't recognize when I was emotionally attached. And that's why I don't want to tell people just don't fall for the red flags, because it's not always that simple. Sometimes you see the red flag, you just don't want to believe what it means. And believe me when I say this, I've ignored red flags for this one. I was warned that she doesn't take stuff seriously, so don't take it serious. I was warned she has a lot of guy friends, which is a red flag in my book. I was warned a bunch of things by different people, but I still chose to ignore it. And because of that, I learned one of the biggest pieces of advice is this: don't listen to how somebody makes you feel. Pay attention to how they make you feel consistently. Because the truth is, anybody can give you butterflies, but the right person would also give you peace. Anybody can tell you that they care, but the right person would consistently demonstrate it. Anybody can make promises, but the right person understands that trust is built through repeated action. And eventually, I had to reach a point where I had to make a decision: keep investing in something that was hurting me or walk away. Now, walking away sounds simple until you're the person who actually has to do it. because knowing something is hurting you doesn't automatically make it easy to let go. Lesson 3: finding the strength to walk away. Heartbreak can mess with your mind. You wake up thinking about them, you go to sleep thinking about them. Maybe you replay conversations. You wonder what you could have done so differently. You wonder whether you should reach out to them, try again. You look at old messages. You even remember all the good moments. Then suddenly, your brain just starts showing you a highlight reel. You remember the laugh, the conversations, the chemistry y'all had, the moments where everything felt just right. And you forget the moments that made you feel like you weren't being valued. You forget the moments where you were truly hurt inside. Now, see, that's why healing requires honesty. It is so important to have honesty when you're in the healing process. Not just remembering what you miss, but also remembering what hurt you. Sometimes you don't even miss the relationship. You just miss the version of the relationship that you hoped it would become. For me, pulling myself out of that heartbreak meant accepting something difficult, that I could love somebody and still choose myself in the end. Those two things can absolutely exist at the same time, believe it or not. Walking away doesn't mean you never cared. It doesn't mean the good memories weren't even real. It doesn't mean that the person was even completely bad. All it means is just the relationship wasn't healthy for you anymore. And sometimes that's enough. You don't need somebody to be a monster before you're allowed to leave. You don't need some big dramatic betrayal that you'll see in the movies or the stupid live action YouTube videos of catching cheaters or something. You don't even need somebody else to agree on your decision. Sometimes acknowledging that this is hurting me is enough. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend like my healing happened overnight because it didn't. Truth is, I'm actually still going through it. It's been a couple of days, so it's expected, but slowly but surely, I'm confident in myself that I know I can pull through this. There are definitely the days where I feel strong, and there are days when I feel weak. There are the days that I feel like I was completely over it, but then one little thing just happened to remind me of her. Now, see, that's true heartbreak. And ladies and gents, I want you to understand something as well. Healing isn't just a straight line. The best way I can really describe it is like walking forward while looking backward, stumbling, getting back up, but continuing anyway. And eventually, over time, something changes in your mind. You stop asking things like, how do I get her back? Or what can I do to win her heart back? And instead, you start asking, how do I get myself back? Now, ladies and gents, I want you to understand that that is the real question you should be asking yourself. How do I get myself back? My confidence, my peace, my identity back? How do I get it all back? How do I become somebody who doesn't need another person to validate my own worth? And that's where true strength comes from. Not from pretending you don't care, not from becoming a cold person, not even from deciding that you'll never love again. True strength comes from realizing that you survived losing someone you thought you couldn't live without. And if you survive that, you can survive whatever comes next. If there's one thing I want you to take from this episode, it's this: love deeply, but don't disappear inside somebody else's life. Give people a chance, but make them earn deeper access to you. It's okay to be vulnerable, but don't ignore your boundaries. Believe what people tell you, but pay even closer attention to what they repeatedly show you. And please, don't confuse being wanted with being valued. Somebody can want your attention without respecting your heart. Somebody can want your body without wanting your future. Somebody can want your presence without being prepared to give you consistency. And that's why you have to choose wisely in where you invest in somebody. Because the truth is, your heart isn't some unlimited resource. Your time, your energy, it's all not unlimited. So be intentional about who receives them. Now, maybe you, the viewer, listening to this right now with a broken heart, maybe you're checking your phone, hoping that their name appears in the notifications. Maybe you're wondering why you weren't enough. You're probably blaming yourself. Maybe you're wondering what you could have done so differently. But let me tell you something. You're not worthless because somebody didn't know how to love you. You're not unlovable because one relationship failed. And you're certainly not weak because you still miss somebody who hurt you. You're human. You cared, you hoped, and you invested. But it just didn't work out. It hurts. I understand it, but let it hurt. Just don't let the pain convince you that your story is over. One failed investment doesn't mean that you're incapable of building wealth. And one failed relationship doesn't mean you're incapable of finding love. It means you learned. You learned what you need. You learned what you don't want. You learned what your boundaries are. You learned how quickly you give your heart away. And hopefully, you learned how valuable that heart actually is. So the next time you love somebody, don't love them from a place of desperation. Love them from a place of abundance. Don't say, I need you anymore. Say, I choose you. Because there's power in that difference. Because when you know you can walk away, you don't have to tolerate anything just to keep somebody. And when you finally understand your own worth, you stop begging people to recognize it. You recognize it yourself. And that's what I'm taking from this whole heartbreak situation. Not bitterness, not revenge, not even hatred, but growth. Because maybe she wasn't meant to be the person that I ended up with. Maybe she was meant to be the person who taught me what I needed to know before I actually met the person who was. And maybe that's the same lesson you, the viewer, need to hear. You can lose somebody and still find yourself. You can have your heart broken and still become stronger. You can walk away from someone you love and still believe in love. So if you're hurting right now, keep going. Get up tomorrow. Take care of yourself. For the men, go get you a haircut, dude. For the women, go get your nails done. Just go talk to somebody. Just get outside. Work on the goals that you set for yourself. Maybe try putting the phone down. Stop checking for somebody who isn't even checking for you. And slowly, day by day, as time goes on, you'll realize that you're choosing yourself. Because heartbreak may have taken something from you, but it doesn't get to fully take you. And one day you're going to look back at this version of yourself who's crying, confused, and was desperately trying so hard to hold on to something that was slipping away. And you're going to say to yourself, I'm glad I finally let go. Not because you stopped loving them, but because you finally learned how to love yourself more. Now, real quick before I end this episode, I want to just say a quick message to the person that this whole podcast was about. On the odd chance you are watching this, you know exactly who you are. And I just want you to know that I forgive you. I really do. And I'm not saying that because what happened didn't hurt me, because it did. I'm not saying it because I've forgotten what you've done, because I haven't. And honestly, I don't think I ever should, because forgetting would mean forgetting the lessons that I learned from everything I went through from you. I'll definitely remember the good moments we had. I'll remember the things I loved about you. I'll remember the person that I thought you were, but I'll also remember how I felt when you suddenly changed on me. I'll remember the confusion I felt. I'll even remember the disappointment, feeling like I wasn't worth nothing. I'll remember the nights that I questioned myself, wondering what went wrong. I'll remember what it felt like to give so much of myself to you and eventually realize that I had to choose myself in the end of the day. And I'm not going to erase any of that just to make this forgiveness any easier. Because forgiveness doesn't mean what happened was okay. Forgiveness doesn't mean I'm pretending it didn't happen. And forgiveness definitely doesn't mean I'm opening the door for us to go back to what we were. It means I'm choosing not to carry hatred for you anymore. I don't want revenge. I don't want to see you suffer. I don't even want bad things to happen to you. Despite everything, I genuinely hope you find happiness. I hope you figure out whatever it is you're looking for. And if you're ever in a place where you're struggling mentally or having bad thoughts, maybe you're feeling alone, or you simply just need somebody to talk to, you can always reach out to me. I'll listen. If you need somebody to remind you that you're not alone, I'll be that person. If you need somebody to talk you through a difficult night, I'll hear you. Because whatever happened between us doesn't mean I have to stop caring whether you're okay or not. I'm willing to be a person you can talk to, but I'm just not willing to go back to being the person that you were with. I'm done sacrificing my peace to recreate something that hurt me. And by no means is that me punishing you in any way. At the end of the day, it's just me protecting myself. I can still forgive you, but keep my distance. I can care about you, but still choose myself. I can wish you the best without wanting you back. And honestly, I think that's one of the hardest forms of closure that there is. Because sometimes closure isn't about getting the apology that you wanted. Sometimes closure is realizing that you don't need another conversation to validate what you experienced. I know what I went through. I know what you did to me, and I know who I'm becoming on the other side of it. So I won't forget you. I just also won't let the memory of you control me anymore. You were a chapter in my life, an important yet painful one. A chapter that taught me things about love, boundaries, investment, forgiveness, and most importantly, myself. And I'm grateful for those lessons, even if I wish that I didn't have to learn them this way. So wherever life takes you, I sincerely hope it takes you somewhere good. I hope you become healthy, happy. I hope you become the person that you want to be. And like I said, if you ever need somebody to talk to when life gets dark, you know where to find me. But beyond that, I'm finally letting you go. And I need you to let me go too. No anger, no revenge, not even hatred, just acceptance. I forgive you, but I won't forget.